Welcome to the SNA Live podcast, hosted by Three the Hard Way. This is for the culture. Black and Latinx. Where you at?
What's good, cigar fam? It's your boy Seaway, and welcome to SNA Live, the show not just about cigars and cigar lounges, but life in general. Because if you're in a nice-ass cigar lounge with your peoples and only talking about cigars, then you've missed the whole motherfucking point. We're recording live, as always, from Smoking Ashes Cigars and Haberdashery, the hottest cigar lounge in these United States. With me, as always, are my partner in crime, the GM in Leak. Say what's up to the people.
What's good? What's good? What's going on?
What's going on, fam?
We can now be seen on One Institution Media's platform, as we are now part of the OIM family. What's good, One Institution? How y'all doing? Today's episode is episode number 12, entitled Gang Gang. We're talking about the mass incarceration problem in these United States. We're talking about the gang population exploding because or stemming from that mass incarceration. We also got our notable mention segment. We got our segment we call What You Rockin' With, where we're going to talk about what we're feeling, what we're vibing with this particular week. And with that being said, as usual, cut your stick, light them up, and let's get it popping.
Welcome to SNA Live, a podcast like no other. Featuring Three the Hard Way. You want it, you got it. Yes. Episode 1212, titled Gang Gang. You know all about this if you've been from the streets all the way to the prisons. Now it's time for you to hear some facts, so just sit back and listen. But right about now, it's a perfect time to get your stick, get your drink, get your seat, and let's rock.
Episode number 12.
Crazy.
Gang.
Thank
gang.
you.
So, before we get into our topics, as we usually do at this point, we gotta talk about what we're smoking, what we're drinking. So, Ryan, since you are firing up your stick right now, I'm gonna let you start it off, brother. What you got today?
All right, so I have not had this one yet. This is a brand new addition to our humidor.
Yes, it is.
It's another version of the Lost and Found Pepper Cream,
Okay.
but this one is the Especial.
Okay.
And this one here is just loaded with San Andreas wrappers, which is what we love.
Mm-hmm.
It's loaded with Sumatra Binder, which is another one that we love. And it's got an aged Criollo with aged C98, which is Criollo 98 as well. And something called Allure, which I've never had before, an aged Allure.
Okay.
So we're going to find out. Never had this one before.
Okay.
I've had the original pepper cream.
Yeah.
This one just came out, at least to, for us to have it. You can cop this here as always.
Stop by 200 Walraven Drive, Teaneck, New Jersey.
Shameless
I'll let you boys.
plug. So,
Sure.
Malik, what are you smoking this week?
So I'm smoking one of my favorites in that humidor. I know I've said that before, but this actually might be definitely top
What-
two.
what
He's
is
not
that?
for real this time.
This is a flavor bomb.
Tell
What
me
we
which
call
one this
flavor
is.
bomb. This is the AD Ventura, the King's Gold from AD Ventura.
Yo, that fucking cigar is magic. It is definitely one of the best cigars I've had.
So real quick story, when the first time I had this, shout out to Henderson Ventura, owner, he came here and he's just walking around, taking a look, hanging out, and he's about to leave. And he had the little Corona, I believe. So he kind of sneaks it to me because I guess that was the last one he had. He goes, "Try this." I'm like, "Okay, all right." So he hadn't left yet, so I started smoking, and I was like, wow. Like when you talk about you ever read those reviews? And these guys start, talking about all these like flavors of cinnamon
And you're like, man, I don't taste none of that shit.
This is that cigar where you're like, all right, I taste some of those.
Gotcha.
It's cinnamon, creamy.
Yo, but it has everything all in one.
Everything going on. Like, it's so much going on.
But to me, the thing is the wrapper.
Yeah,
the wrapper
rapper's
pulls it
very-
all together.
Definitely. It's very unique rapper. Definitely very
So
unique.
that dude knew what he was doing. When he slid
Hell
it to you,
yeah.
he knew what he was doing.
He
That
had
was-
me
that was
salivating.
slick. Yeah, he had
And I
it.
ordered like
Yeah.
2 days later. I ordered like
And we've
3
been
boxes.
ordering ever since.
And he was like, gotcha, bitch.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Really quick breakdown. Connecticut broadleaf. Everybody knows it's my favorite. Connecticut broadleaf wrapper. Mexican San Andres binder, and it has fillers from DR, US, and Nicaragua. So again, a lot going on in the cigar. So definitely one of my favorites. If you haven't tried it, definitely, and you know we have it here.
At Smoking Ashes, 200 Warhaven Drive, Teaneck, New Jersey.
07666.
That's right. Now, Conway, what are you rocking with right now with your cigar of the choice?
So I've done this past couple episodes. You know, I stay away usually.
Stay to the right again?
Yeah, I went that way again because I'm like, you know what?
Okay.
I've been real, like, just selective about what I'm smoking and staying away from, you know, the staples. You know what I'm saying, of the majority of other cigar lounges, because we separate ourselves because we focus on a small batch and boutique. So I pride myself on sampling those, enjoying those, and I kind of stay away from, you know, the bigger name brands. But I figured, you know what, I gotta give them a chance, right? So what I have today is the Oliva Serie V. It's the Bellicosa size. So this one, it has Nicaraguan long filler and binder with the Ecuadorian Habano sun-grown wrapper. So much like you were saying before with respect to tasting the notes that they actually talk about. So I read the review. It's supposed to have notes of rich coffee, dark chocolate, and literally like on pull number 2 or 3, I was like, oh,
right away.
Got it.
Okay. It wasn't bullshitting. You know what I mean? Like the flavor's actually coming through. So I'm definitely feeling this one right off the bat. I don't even have to like wait to
That's
say
a big.
like,
That's one of the big sellers here
That's a
too,
classic
though.
cigar too.
And it's one of our big sellers here too.
Yeah.
yeah, no, it is. It is.
It's a staple, and people come in and they buy that. They
right
definitely
to
buy
that.
that.
But you know what though?
Milano.
I've always been that dude. Like if everybody's doing something, I'm like, all right, that's cool. I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that. I'm gonna go somewhere. I'm gonna go left.
Exactly. But you know what? All these people can't be wrong.
No, they
right?
can't.
Yeah,
They can't.
Nah, it's on point. It definitely is on point. So we also got to talk about what we're sipping on today. So I'm not sure if we broke this out in season 1. I want to say yes.
I think we did.
But for those who haven't seen season 1, number 1,
You couldn't see it.
you're slipping.
Yeah, you can only hear
Well,
it.
you can hear it. But
Yeah.
experienced it.
Absolutely. That's a better
statement.
way.
Yeah. If you haven't experienced season 1, you're slipping. Catch up now. But we brought this out for season 2. It's the Elijah Craig small batch Kentucky bourbon. So it's a relatively priced, small batch bourbon. You can get this size bottle for probably like around 25 to 35, depending on
The store.
Just the store exactly where you're buying it. It's supposed to have notes of warm spice and a subtle smoky flavor. And I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna do it. Don't do it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
His fucking
Keep going. I'm
face.
sorry.
No, it's all good though. I
So,
know,
like-
I could taste those same
definitely the
type of
spice.
descriptions you gave.
Yeah.
definitely.
But I can
So-
still pick up the smoke.
And that's the thing. That's what I like about this
On the
bourbon.
back end.
It complements a cigar. It doesn't overpower it. And we've had a couple of episodes where we've had some drinks that we won't, shout out in terms of, having any type of negative review.
Negative, yeah.
But it was like, this is cool, but it's fucking up the smoke. You know what I mean? So this particular one, I think it complements it.
Yeah,
You
it
know what I'm
does.
saying?
For sure.
It definitely does.
It's the peanut butter in your PBJ sandwich. You know what I mean?
No, it is.
It's not just overpowering the flavor or the taste of your cigar. So
And listen, guys, when you get a chance and you do smoke your own cigars and you do your own testing with your own, spirits, take heed to what works together and what doesn't.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Because you'll notice, right? There's been times where we bought a bottle, we smoked some cigars in the backyard back in the day, and they just be like, "What the fuck did we just do?"
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, this thing is horrible.
yeah.
We end up cracking something else that's either in the crib. You know what I mean? Just because the blend wasn't working.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it hits home runs.
Yeah. And sometimes the bottle's meant to be enjoyed alone, not with the without
That's
the
true
smoke.
too. That is true. Some are just better just to sip alone. Correct.
Exactly. So mass incarceration. Let's get into topic number 1 for the day. The one thing, a couple episodes ago we were talking about, the one thing this country loves is its guns.
Yes, it does.
But the other thing it loves, other than its drugs, is
Facts.
locking black and brown people up.
Yeah, it's a fact.
Yes.
Like it's crazy. So
Kind of made a mistake. Hold on. Keep going. Should have no affiliations for this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, good catch.
Yeah, my bad. So the hair is gonna have to be what it is, but you'll understand this. And
Y'all
it's no
understand
knock
later.
on nothing. It's just that
Yeah.
there's no affiliations with anything, and it can't even throw innuendos and have people pick up subliminals. So
Nah, none of
just
that.
trying to cut that real dry.
We ain't about that life.
Yeah, no. We're in our 40s. We're good. So yeah, my bad. So
No, it's cool. Like, but that was a good catch, though.
yeah. It is what it is, man.
So, we like I said before, man. We just love locking up black and brown people in this country, and I'm just gonna just before we get into like the whole discussion, just give a little context and some numbers. So, this whole mass incarceration thing pretty much exploded in the mid 1980s.
Not surprised.
The
What
Reagan
else?
era.
Yeah, what else? I was about to say, and what else was popping out during that time? Huh?
Yeah. Crack epidemic.
Yep.
Reagan era. A lot of shit was going on. CIA bringing drugs into the black community.
Yep.
A lot of shit was going on in mid 80s.
Yes, it was.
So, the mid 1980s, you have this explosion, an uptick in incarceration. As of the end of 2016, we had about 2.3 million people incarcerated. Now, to give even more context,
It's a lot of people.
our population is roughly 350 million people.
Yeah,
roughly,
correct.
Roughly. China, their number of incarcerated people, and then I think it was like the latest tallies that they did. Now, obviously, this is estimation because I know China's
they
not
don't
sitting
know-
there
yeah,
like, hey,
counting.
this is the, exactly.
Everybody.
And sharing it with us.
Yeah,
but
check.
estimations, 1.7 million.
1.7 million in
Yeah,
China.
In China. So,
What's their population?
many
Like
people?
2
How
billion?
many people is in
1
China?
billion?
1 billion
Literally
people.
a billion people.
Yeah, they have 3 times the population of us.
That's
and-
no 0.001%
Yeah,
of their
like
population.
it's insane. It's insane.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and this is supposed to be a country, and once again, this is not. I just want to make this clear because I know we sometimes rag on this country or whatever, but this is not an anti-American podcast. We're
Absolutely not. We love where we live.
because what it is that because we love it, we expect more of it.
Yeah.
and that's all it really boils down to.
Facts.
So it's like, okay, we have a third of the population, but more people incarcerated. So in the mid 1980s, that's when it just spikes, and then it hits its peak in 2016. Now, we are down in numbers. I think the most recent number is like 1.3, but in terms of industrialized nations, we're still like leaps and bounds ahead
It's
of
insane.
most countries.
It's insane. It's like, but when you really dive into it, it became two-sided for the establishment to win. One, they lock up more black and brown folk, which destroys a lot more black and brown families. And then a lot of people were making money off of these corporations. Because some people might not still know till today that most of these prisons that are not state-run, they're privately owned.
Privately owned. Yeah. So there's money to be made.
And you got judges making money off of
Everybody.
Everyone.
Everyone
Prisoners
makes money
making
some
money.
way, somehow.
Yeah.
And everyone nowadays watches their own TV shows, so these
Law-
prison
Law and
shows,
Order.
Law and Order from that side. But even like when you watch like these prison shows and or shows that are gang related, you get the other side to it, and they see what goes on.
Yo, just because you mentioned Law and Order, I just gotta say this.
I know you hate that show.
Yo,
Yo, weren't you on set, bro, one day?
yeah.
You was a consultant. They hired you as a consultant.
No, yo, all right. So I got a quick story.
Conway's like, yo, all this shit's bullshit. Hire me, baby.
No. So quick story. So I was on set, but completely by accident. It was Law and Order SVU.
That's
And
my show right there.
I was
Yeah,
coming
for real.
I was coming off the 6 train for people that know the New York City area, the Brooklyn Bridge, 6 train stop is where you get off to get to Manhattan Criminal Court. So, but you have to walk about 2-3 blocks away from the train stop. So they were filming a Law and Order SVU episode right in the area in front of 1 Center Street. So I get off the train, I'm walking, and I'm always thinking about, okay, when I get to court, I need to do this, that, and the other. So I'm kind of oblivious to where I'm walking sometimes because I'm just like, I have tunnel vision in terms of where I'm trying to get to. So all of a
Yes,
sudden,
we know. We know, brother.
That's Conway.
yo, so all of a sudden I'm like, yo, is that Detective Benson from Law and Order SVU?
That's what happened right there.
He was like, oh.
Yeah, and she's as bad in person as she is on TV.
She has to be.
But then she looks at me like, motherfucker, what are you? Who is this? I don't remember this part in the fucking script.
You actually like
I walked through the, I walked through the set.
Yo, who is this guy?
Meanwhile, I'm in a suit. I got my
Nice
shades
suit,
on.
brother, but you gotta get the hell out of here.
No, but seriously though, what I was gonna get to was, Law and Order, I think single-handedly like ruins people's perception of like what the criminal justice system is in this country, man.
But you know what they're doing? They're trying to give their own take of like real life stories, and they're kind of misconstruing it. You know what I mean?
They do use a lot of
That's
like
what they're
real stories.
They do, but
Yeah.
then
They twist it.
They twist it.
They Hollywood
for making entertainment.
It's done Hollywood.
exactly.
It's got Hollywood.
But that's you said it. You hit the nail right on the head. Entertainment.
That's exactly what
but
it is.
people watch it and are like, "Oh, this is how
This is
court
law."
is in."
Dun, dun. This is law.
and the criminals.
Yeah, it's not. It's so like I encourage people. When shit opens back up, go to a courthouse and watch how shit really happens, and you're gonna be like, "Well, wait a minute."
I can imagine that. I mean, you've been there so many years, so many court sessions you've been through, and then you watch a movie one day and you're like, "Yo, this is so not how this shit works."
Yeah, but it's entertaining to me too.
That's entertainment.
Yeah,
I get
it's
it.
pure entertainment to me. Yeah,
But
sorry.
yeah, no, but it's all right. But just the point that was being made before was just how the prisons, it worked two-sided for the establishment. And you can call me biased. You know what I mean? You can turn around and sit and say a lot of these guys murdered people, killed people, raped people. Yeah, some of those guys did.
But not all of them.
But not every single one of them. Just some guy the other day, really, I just read an article. He was in jail for like 8 years, and he told everyone in the courtroom he got held in contempt because he turned around and stood up and told the family and the other people, like, "Yo, I'm not the one who killed your son."
Yeah.
Like he was telling them, judge was yelling at him, everybody. He's like, "I did not do this."
Yeah.
They just found that 8 years later he was innocent.
Of course. Yeah.
I mean, look at Baltimore when they uncovered all those planting, drugs and guns on people, and for years, there's how many people are probably in that system that are innocent because cops just wanted to make their numbers and wanted to get paid and just planted shit on
I will sit here and say this.
Man.
I will say this, and this is to the recent days because the thing that happened back in the 80s, that was just driven to just break up the homes.
Yeah, sure.
That definitely was. And I'm not saying that today is not, but I believe that today is more about greed than anything because a lot of these, listen, the same way teachers need to be paid more, I feel the same way about cops and things like that.
Definitely.
They need more training and things like that, but they deserve to get paid more so that they don't have to worry about trying to make things,
quotas and all this
make
shit,
these quotas and feel forced into having to have overtime sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like their job shouldn't be like that.
Exactly.
They shouldn't be considered like a utility worker. They
Because now
works
you
on
get
overtime.
there's a money incentive.
There's an incentive to just do shit. And listen, we're all human.
Yeah.
I could be having a rough time.
Yeah.
God forbid my wife could have cancer. I can't afford the fucking
Or
meds.
my kid's about to go to school,
Any kind of pressure.
college or whatever.
Any kind of pressure.
I'm trying to get this tuition. I want my kid to have a better life than me.
And real talk, especially in the 90s, 2000s, a lot of these cops is arresting dudes, watching these dudes make real money while these dudes is making like 40 grand.
Come on, in New York City, to be starting off with a salary of like $35,000 in New York City, that's ridiculous.
You're basically like poor.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Like,
As a
You still
cop,
gotta live at home with your parents.
And you're a cop, though.
It's crazy, man.
So I'm not. This is a totally. We're being unbiased. I'm not leaning on either side. I'm just saying though that if they took the money situation out of it, you would probably see a difference in some of the numbers.
Yeah.
That lead to this.
It's twofold though. It's increasing the pay and decreasing what they're responsible for. Like if somebody's having a psychiatric episode, like the cop should not
They
be
cannot be called there. They can be the call to support in case it gets physical.
Yeah.
I was
But
watching.
there should be some type of actual.
It's funny you said that. I was watching some reality show and they were in San Antonio and there's this task force that's specifically designated to go out when somebody's having a psychiatric episode.
Yeah.
And they have their guns, but they don't come, loaded with freaking army behind them. It's just two guys that come and knock on the door. Hey, can we talk? And like I saw them talk a guy down that was literally about to stab himself. So again, if they had more training, like to your point, like what they said, that just instead of bringing an army to somebody who's obviously out of their mind, that dude's gonna do something stupid. He's gonna do something crazy. You know what I mean? So again, it goes back to the training. Definitely the training, man.
But at the end of the day, we can't, just totally not understand the fact that there's literally a lot of people in jail that just in general.
Yeah. Well, when you have, I think, a general outlook on a whole race/class of people, like, well, you know what? these people are used to being in jail anyway. So what kind of, what does it matter that if they get locked up for this or that? Like, because if I'm planting something on somebody, or I'm setting up the system such that you're gonna more than likely get incarcerated, if their mindset is, well, they probably wouldn't get locked up for something anyway down the road, so better sooner rather than later, and then we got them off the streets.
I feel like that's what happened in the 90s, because in the 80s it happened so much. By the 90s, the cops were just so used to just doing it. It was like, yeah, these guys are going to jail anyway. That's in their mind right now. These guys are in the street doing nothing. They're going to go to jail anyway.
But the 80s and 90s were a little different with cops. They didn't have the technology that's available now, from the people. So, but I totally understand. I get that point.
Videotapes and all that, yeah.
But again, you watch documentaries like the one that still breaks my heart. I can never watch it again. The Khalif Browder.
Yeah, I can never watch that again.
That story there, it just shows you how broken the system is. And
definitely.
There's God knows how many more of those.
Oh yeah, like that wasn't. I hope people don't see that documentary.
It's a one and done.
Yeah, like
it's an anomaly.
Anomaly. Like, this is so fucked up what happens to this dude, but that doesn't really happen. It's like, yeah, that's actually the norm.
Dude, I get depressed sometimes when I hear. You mean you don't have to tell any stories, but the stories that you come back with about like shit that just goes on, that shit is depressing, man. It's bad. And obviously, when we're saying all of this from, obviously we grew up in the city and we knew people who went through this. We have a lawyer, a criminal defense lawyer who actually experienced it. So we're not just talking shit here. You know what I mean?
But and that's the thing of it though. That's why I started doing the work that I do, because it wasn't just like, I tell my clients all the time straight up. I'm like, yo, I'm not one of these like these attorneys from like Long Island
Square,
or from like fucking Ossining or something like that.
A Square,
yeah, and being like, yo, I don't understand where you're coming from. Like, I've had clients in the Bronx talk to me about some shit sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, right across the street from such and such. And they're like, how the fuck you know that? I'm like, motherfucker, I know the area. You know what I'm saying? I had one client one time tell me, I went to the bodega to get a Dutch or whatever. I mean, I'm sorry, it's a cigar. That I said, motherfucker. You seriously about to explain to me what a Dutch is?
I thought he was going to explain to you what the bodega was. I was really going to be like, oh shit, come on now, really? Yeah, no, sometimes it happens though. They because they just anticipate that's what you're a lawyer.
Yeah.
You don't know what I know. And it's like, fam, no, I've grown up and played and done the same shit in the same streets as you.
Exactly. So
I just made a choice at some point in my life.
Yeah.
And which we all responsible for.
And I got lucky.
And that is a part, listen, it's hard work and there is some luck involved.
Yeah.
With every success story.
Yeah.
Any success story. And to me, just getting out of your element where you were born, especially where I know where we have grown up.
Yeah.
Just getting out is a victory in itself. That's a championship to me.
Definitely. So when we say mass incarceration, we have to kind of also just kind of break it down with respect to there's federal prison, there's state prison, and there's jail. And sometimes they lump in people on probation and parole. Probation, maybe, I don't consider it, quote unquote, as a part of incarceration, mass incarceration, to the extent that you never have to actually set foot in jail to get probation. You're basically saying, okay, as opposed to going to jail, I take this probation. I'm going to be supervised for X amount of years. Parole, on the other hand, you've gone to state prison, you got released, and here's the crazy part. So parole, I think, is just like, yes, you are physically out of prison. Sorry, but you are still property of the state. Like, they can do like all that stuff about
you have a time
search warrants and everything coming into your house. All that shit's out the window.
Yeah,
they can just come into your house anytime.
They can do whatever they want when they want.
Whatever the fuck they want when they want.
They still own you.
Yeah. So when you have people who are on parole, to a certain extent, because they tell you shit like you have to be in by, like, say 8 p.m. You have a curfew.
That's what I was saying. You have a curfew. That's what I was about to ask before.
You can't associate with known felons.
Can't leave the state.
You can't leave the state. You can't drink.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
So it's like, yo.
And you take drug tests too.
Yeah, drug tests as well. So it's kind of like, yo,
So I'm teased.
if I'm going back, like if I got out,
And then don't be in a halfway house, because half the halfway houses are in the hood.
exactly,
exactly.
And
So
I'm
you're
going back-
aring everything.
and I'm going back to the same neighborhood that
That's
I
what I'm
just
saying.
left.
Like,
Got
go
me
ahead, I
locked
did.
up.
Go ahead, I did.
Yeah, I'm walking by the boys, everybody's chilling. Yo, what's good? And I'm literally walking in for my 7:45 curfew.
Remember our boy? He got put in a halfway house in his hood that he got in trouble in. I'm
Yep.
like,
Yep.
the fuck?
Yep.
You going outside seeing the same dudes that you got in trouble
That's why he
with.
started getting in trouble again. Is that
Exactly.
you get your ass in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sad because it's like it's set up for you to fail.
No, it is. It definitely is. It's not like they put you up in like one of these like Westchester County like country clubs where
Nah.
like where you're still you're away from your element at least,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
can try to feel what being around society is.
Matter of fact,
Mike Tyson, perfect example. A little bit of Catskills.
Facts.
What
Yes.
happened to him?
Yeah.
His life together.
Facts.
so talking about parole officers. So Lee Cat put me on to the show called Shameless. If you haven't watched the show Shameless, amazing fucking
yes.
show. So I'm up to like one of the last seasons, and it's when the dude, I think his name's Ian,
Yeah.
got on parole. His parole officer was like, yo, I just did a couple lines of coke.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna send my piss in and violate you unless you do X, Y, and Z for me.
Yeah, exactly.
I was
Got
like,
him.
yo,
Got him. It's
what
real.
the fuck?
Yeah, and there's a female.
Yo,
too.
but think
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
parole officers though that are male with hot female.
How they can take advantage of the situation.
There's a Law and Order episode like this.
See, dun, 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 dun. See, but there you go.
She was raping dudes and telling them if you don't have sex, she was like big and unattractive. She was
Oh,
like,
so
you don't
she
have
was
sex
taking
with me.
the dick.
Yeah, you going back in.
Oh, it was a reverse.
Reverse.
Yeah, reverse.
Oh,
she
she
thought
was
she
like-
could get away with it.
She was like she was putting guns to their head and everything.
what the
Damn.
fuck?
And obviously, it was probably a true story, bro.
Yeah, I mean, they probably, holy shit.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, she was going to get it. One way or the other.
Got caught.
I'm gonna get some of that prison dick.
In her mind, she's just like, too, like, you want this. Like, you ever had this. You ever had nothing. You in jail.
He's like, yeah, I'll pass. I'm good.
Yeah, she was not attractive at all.
My right hand has done me well these past years.
I'll be out a little longer.
I'm gonna stick with Palmetto
Pamela.
Pamela.
and Thumbelina.
Big, yeah, facts.
And on that note, man, we gotta take a brief pause. We're gonna get into our notable mention segment.
It's the SNA Live Podcast, and it's time for the notable mention.
And we're back with our notable mention segment. Still laughing about that Thumbelina joke. Which we'll get into in our next episode.
I was gonna say that too.
Facts.
Stay tuned for that one.
Wait for that one.
You can't miss that one.
Just can't miss TV.
So we have to do our notable mention, considering the topic of today, or the topic of the episode, on Dr. not Mr.
That's right.
Dr. Guy Fisher. So for those that don't know,
You're good, don't worry about it.
Guy Fisher, New York dude, he was a part of the quote unquote the council, headed up by Nicky Barnes. They were a infamous heroin ring in the 70s in Harlem. Now, contrary to popular belief, Dr. Guy Fisher was a Bronx dude.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's
he
from
was.
the Bronx. Yep.
Yep, they from the
BX borough, yeah, because most of the council was
from
Harlem
Harlem,
dudes,
yeah.
yeah, but yeah, no, Guy Fisher was from the Bronx.
Guys
though.
from the X.
Yeah, shout out. So he before his incarceration bought the Apollo, which was so was so huge at that point in time, because to have a black man in the, I think it was the late 70s, early 80s when he purchased it, to have him own the Apollo,
Yeah.
just meant so much for the community.
Yes, it did.
Now, we are not necessarily advocating for what he did to make his living, to make his money or whatever.
He put it back into his name.
Exactly.
One of the rare guys who did do that. He put the money back into the neighborhood. And not for anything, I can't even say rare, because a lot of
dudes
stand-up
do it.
guys did that.
Yeah, a lot of them did. So when I say Dr.
But
Guy Fisher,
that was a big purchase though. That's not.
Yeah,
just
that was
like-
huge.
That's not like some Christmas gift.
Nah. Yeah, exactly. That was huge. So when I say doctor, it's not like he was a pediatrician slinging heroin and it got locked up. So he got his doctorate in sociology while he was in prison. So in 1984, he was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. Now, he was never, I don't think, convicted of any type of murders.
No.
I think it was all drug related.
Racketeering.
Yeah. So going back to your point, Rye, about, prisons being full of quote unquote murderers and rapists, the actual numbers support the fact that it's more non-violent crimes, which is the craziest part, because what you're essentially stating is these people aren't physical threats to society. So as opposed to putting them in a cage with the violent people who are murderers and rapists.
Yeah, I know what that feels like.
Best believe when they come out, they're going to be violent motherfuckers, because you just put them in
an
with a bunch of violent motherfuckers. Yeah. They don't separate prisons.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a prison for rapists, a prison for murderers, a prison for drug dealers. You're gonna. Guy Fisher was in Leavenworth with Islamic radical terrorists plotting like bombings.
Like shit to change the world.
How does that even make sense? Anyway,
Crazy.
he also received his master's while he was in prison, so he made the most of his time, and which I never thought I would see. Released in October 2020.
Yes, he was. Welcome home.
Because I remember growing up, as we probably all do, like hearing the stories.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then when we had those periodicals that came out, what was the ones back in the day, like Don Diva? What was it? Had the stories.
Feds magazine.
Feds. Like, you read these stories of these guys in their lives, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, there was a documentary on him. So matter of fact, I still have the DVD.
Oh shit, word.
The Guy Fisher story. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Wow. Yeah, man, that dude was a legend, especially in the Bronx. A lot of people don't know that. Everybody's figured because he was with Nicky Barnes, he was a Harlem.
Yeah,
dude.
no, BX dude, yeah, man.
Yeah.
And again, hopefully, like, he's home now. Maybe one day we'll get lucky enough to get him on the show with us.
Yeah, definitely. That'll be real cool. That'll be real cool. Yo, one little quick thing that I found out while doing a little bit of research on him, because I knew most of the stuff that I read. There's a couple other little points that I didn't know. So one of the members of the council was a dude named Frank Matthews. So I watched a couple documentaries on Nicky Barnes, and I read his book. I think it was Mr. Untouchable. Mm-hmm. And Frank Matthews was one of the main dudes of the council. So I'm thinking like everybody went to prison or died. This motherfucker is still at large. He got caught in 73, I think, for like tax evasion or some shit like that.
Wow.
And then never went back to court and just bounced.
Never heard from
never heard. And they said his estimated net worth at the time was about 20 mil. So you can get
What year is that?
In the 70s.
Oh, so that's a lot of bread.
Exactly.
He definitely left the country without a doubt.
So the fact that this motherfucker is in his 70s, like, and look, I don't know what his lifestyle is.
Yeah, I mean, it could be in like a cabin in the bayou somewhere.
Exactly.
Or it could be.
He could be like up in Venezuela in a villa. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Living
like,
life.
Exactly.
It's true. Yeah, you don't know.
With chicks
man.
like fanning him with big ass leaves.
Yeah, you
being
don't
fed
know.
Peeled grapes. You know what I'm saying?
Or he's dead by now.
Or, yeah.
You know, you just don't know.
That's
But
the other thing. Yeah.
That's the life. That's the life.
That is. I mean, that's part of it. That's part of the life. And speaking of the life, we got to get into our next topic, which is basically the topic that gave us the title for this episode, and that's the gang phenomenon in America, stemming from this mass incarceration that we're talking about. So we've said this time and time and again, and we're gonna probably say it more. We're 80s babies. So you guys remember growing up, watching movies from the 90s with the gangs, all out in LA.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it was like all that shit that went on in the 90s over there,
Right in front of your door.
it's like, yo,
Crazy.
So
what happened?
So, real talk, it was happening here, but it wasn't LA shit.
It wasn't.
We were used to watching Bloods and Crips on TV,
Yeah.
but out here during that time period, it was a whole nother.
Well, we had the
set.
Latin Kings.
You had the Nientas, the Latin Kings, Zulu Nation.
Nation.
You know,
Zulu
and that was.
Nation, yeah.
I grew up around all that shit.
Yeah.
So like, I saw this shit. It was real.
No, I remember that.
Remember the movie Warriors?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we always had gangs.
Facts.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the way LA did it.
Yeah.
Was just like it was foreign to us.
Yes, because they were foreign to us.
Yes.
Their
And then-
lifestyle,
Yeah.
I mean, like, unless you grew up in Queens, we didn't really know about having houses in the hood. That's for one.
Yeah.
So when you see people growing up with, in these movies we watch, everyone had a house. most of the people over here didn't take LA too serious at the time because you're like,
got
nigga, at the end of the day, you still got a house. And you got some trees and shit. Now, I'm not shitting on
I would watch these movies and be like, what are y'all motherfuckers so
arguing
mad
about?
at?
Me too. We over
Y'all
here in the
have
winter.
houses with palm trees.
40-story buildings.
It is
people on top of
80
people.
degrees like every single day.
And
It's bright and sunny.
And they was wearing leather bombers with wool hats.
Now, we ain't
That's why
hating
they
on
were angry.
LA.
It was hot, nigga. It was hot.
No.
Yo, I'm hot, so what you
but-
looking at, B?
Now, to
with
their,
Scully's on.
to their defense, though, right?
Yeah.
What always happens here in New York when the weather get warm?
Motherfuckers start wilding out.
Yeah, crime.
Yeah.
Niggas wild out.
Yeah.
But it's because we were cold for so long and we're so happy to just be out and about
That's true.
that we fucking wild out.
So it's always hot over there, though. So they just always out.
They was
But that's my
angry.
point, though. Like,
I know why it
it's
happens
not-
with us.
It's not hot.
They should just be chilling. Is what
Yeah,
you're saying. Like, why are you so mad?
It's not
it's
like how we
beautiful out
get
there.
we get the heat waves out here. You know what I'm saying? LA is consistently
Beautiful.
like 9 months out of the year, like 75 to 80 degrees
Yeah,
with a
it
nice
really
little
is.
breeze.
And it doesn't rain.
Yeah, exactly.
No cloudiness to be
Really?
depressed or nothing. You got sun.
Tony said it. It never rains in Southern California. What the fuck y'all mad at? No, but seriously though, like, so what ended up happening, I think, was now you have people with the whole drug game getting locked up in places where they're not from. So you have people moving shit across state lines, right?
Yeah, so for instance, you got some New York dudes moving down to Baltimore.
But then you got LA dudes
LA dudes coming out here.
LA dudes coming out here.
and all of a sudden they get locked up.
Recruit.
And exactly.
They need the protection, so they recruit.
Exactly.
Yo, it's gang life is for real out here in LA. Let me tell you about it. Let me show you. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And then
yeah.
I never forget. I think we was in like 10th grade. And again, didn't know anything about gangs. From the hood, but again, I didn't know about gangs like that. And this kid in our school comes in the next day, big ass bandage over his face. Like, what happened? Like some dude just literally walked up to him and shanked him.
Yeah.
Now in the beginning,
And
like
it was a blood
It was a
initiation.
blood related
Yeah.
thing. That
And
was
that's
when
when I first started hearing
yeah.
about the Bloods. I'm like, wow, this
it
is
went
crazy.
rampant over here. Like,
Over the
but-
90s for a while.
But the
it
thing
got
that,
crazy.
but what killed us, like I know for myself growing up around these other gangs that were New York dominant gangs, like like we said, the Kings and stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody was running around slashing an old lady in the face, and we were watching that happen left and right. Innocent victims, like innocent people. Like it wasn't even like somebody who could defend himself at the time. They were getting themselves slashed
That shit
left and
bothered me.
right.
That shit bothered me.
You know, kicking down the door, slashing an old lady in her apartment.
Yeah.
67-year-old lady living by herself with cancer.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on here?
Never got that shit.
Yeah, that's
Never
where
got
that's where it kind of went left. So
No, but that's a good point. I never thought about that. It was the migration of people from all over.
Exactly.
And then it started in the jails. At least in the East Coast, it started in the
but that's what I'm
jails.
saying. Like without this mass incarceration, without this huge
It would never
uptick,
happen, yeah.
it wouldn't have happened this way. It wouldn't have exploded because once you, like you said, that was a very like astute point with respect to protection.
Yeah.
You have white dudes that go into prison not being skinheads, but they're a white dude in prison. They're like, yo, I'm about to get my white ass beat.
And
So who do you join?
Facts.
Now you have to almost.
You have no
And
choice.
that was a point that you made
no
before
choice.
on just how most of the people who go into prison are nonviolent crime offenders.
Exactly.
So if I just got arrested for doing some white collar shit,
or freaking.
and that wasn't to the federal level
you
though.
had an ounce of weed and you get 5 years for an ounce of weed. Like,
Yeah.
Come on.
But now, like you said, I'm a regular Joe that's out and about. Now I'm doing, like you said, even if I'm doing 2 years, if I'm doing 16 months,
Yeah.
I still got to survive in here 16 months.
It's a long
Killers.
ass time.
It is, man. 3 months is a long ass time.
It
So,
went straight killers.
For anybody that's like, oh man, he only got like a year and a half.
And you're right, they don't separate, bro.
Those days.
And I got a
are
story
long
for
as
that.
fuck.
I got a story for that.
Yeah, go ahead.
One time I had gotten arrested. I was 16. I got arrested for not having my insurance on my car. Right? I go into the 52nd precinct, in the Bronx.
Yeah, in the Bronx,
Bro,
Ryer Avenue, right?
yeah, no, bro, they put me in the cell with these two dudes who still have blood all over them. Right? Now, I'm in the holding cell with these two dudes, and then I hear the cops talking. These two dudes just murdered like 4 people.
What the fuck?
I got arrested for some insurance. These dudes just murdered 4 people, and they're still breathing hard. I'm 17. I'm 17 with these grown ass men. There was no separation. They didn't handcuff me like you see in SVU to the desk. That didn't happen.
Like, stay right here. We'll be with you.
You don't need to be over there with those guys.
Just saying that that's on a micro level. Like you said, prison, there's no separation. You're in Gen Pop, you in Gen Pop.
Yep. It's a wrap.
Now you said real killers. And that's where the gang shit really gets crazy.
Yeah.
Because like you said, people need this protection. And some people are scared.
Yeah.
And they'll be willing to pay any price there is so that they don't have to feel that fear.
Yeah.
And that's what changes people though.
Yeah.
Because you get people that go inside not one way. They go inside, have to get protection, you know, or they, you know, or maybe their cousin or their boy is a part of somebody. Because not all the time do people go in there looking for it.
Yeah, no,
sometimes it comes to them. Because there's stories I've known for a long time with people where it's like, yo, my boy got locked up. That's my man. My brother's in there. He gonna take care of him.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, now with him being in there and he knows that he's your brother's man, now you just guilty by association.
Exactly.
So now you got
Rolling
no
with him.
choice
Yeah, you
being
rolling with
able to
him.
roll with them.
And if I'm protecting you, better have my
And
back.
you gotta have
motherfucker.
mine as
You better
well.
have my
It goes
back.
back and forth. No, it's true.
But just to go on another level, like you said, from the prisons, also because this always was, mind-boggling to me. Again, why do people join gangs? It goes back to what the topic we just talked about, the mass incarceration, and how they took the black male out of the household.
Yeah, father figure.
So growing up in the 80s and 90s, what was it? It was most likely, again, I was blessed to have both my parents in the household, but not everybody, a majority of people didn't have that. You had your dad who was in prison or out in the streets, and you had your mom who was hooked on drugs.
Yeah.
So you had no family. And I remember I asked this gang.
Or even if it was one or the other.
Yeah, I asked
Yeah.
this gang dude, like, what was it? He was like, well, actually it was my wife's cousin. I asked him. He was same thing. And it was because I have no family. The people out on the block, that was my family. You know what I mean? The
Exactly.
older drug dealers, they took care of me.
They took care of you.
My mother didn't have no money. She was strung out. And,
They're the ones that got me
they
my
gave
gear, food.
Yeah, food, everything.
Because
You know what I mean?
it's not always just some pair of Jordans. Sometimes it's food.
Yeah, they give you a little knot. Go buy some groceries for you and your
food,
brothers and sisters.
And it's guidance. too.
Guidance, yeah.
That's the other
It's
thing.
not always the right guidance, but at least
Yeah.
someone talking to you act
but
like
you
they
know what,
really
though?
care about you.
In terms of like being right or wrong, I always tell people this with respect to if you're not from a particular environment, it's very, very easy to judge, right?
Exactly.
Oh, it's
There's a
easy.
difference.
It's so easy.
There's a huge difference between living and surviving.
Yeah.
When you're trying to survive, a lot of these rules and cultural norms, that shit goes out the window, yo.
All of it does.
So
I
it's
think
like-
everything that you learn, for someone who has not been in situations, I could just only imagine that feeling of them going to prison for the first time. And speaking of, just the prisons and we're talking about gangs in general, right?
Yeah.
In 2014, did you know that there was over 33,000 gangs in the United States? Compiled between street gangs, prison gangs, and motorcycle gangs.
I did not know that.
That's a lot. God damn.
So we, in addition to our guns, drugs, and locking people up, we also
love our gangs.
Okay.
Bro, there's gangs everywhere.
Gang. Okay.
There's gangs everywhere,
Shit.
man.
I never got that.
And what's crazy though is like but you know what's funny though? Again, I remember growing up in the Bronx where one block was a gang. Even if you had just your own crew.
Yeah,
And your crew had a name. You went back to like the Warriors shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then like the very next corner had a whole nother set of dudes with a whole nother crew.
That's what Chicago goes through.
But that was us like in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
But here's something I'm gonna just.
15. Really? Oh,
Wow.
we're buzzing on air. Okay, well you guys have to
got-
deal with a little bit of ringing.
Yeah, we got.
Did not anticipate that.
Wait, didn't we talk about that? Like literally just like the last episode about how we've never had a phone call.
On
I
air.
think it was off air. We had the conversation,
Should really answer it on air.
but
Hello, Smoking Ashes. How can I help you?
We're closed right now,
And we're recording.
and we're
Thanks.
recording. So, here's the thing that some people won't readily admit: gangs are kind of cool.
The same way you mentioned
So-
this before, guns are kind of cool.
So it's like, no, because
Go ahead.
think about it from a perspective
Like I said,
of.
Alright, but
I was
Lee-
such a
Lee-
loner that I never.
No,
got
no,
that.
No,
I
but
never
Lee,
got
it wasn't that
though.
you was a loner. You was an athlete. You had a different life. Like you were a part of a gang, just different type of
Yeah.
gang. You were a part of teams.
Yeah.
You went from a summer team to a school team to a prep team to a travel team. Like you
Think about it this way.
You were on some shit. You were an athlete, bro.
Think about when St. Ray's went on the road to play another team, and somebody from that other team tried to set it on your band.
Oh, we
What?
wouldn't.
But there
Exactly,
you go
there
though.
you
But
go.
that's
Even
the
in
thing
college,
though.
I got them to a couple of bros.
No, but
Yeah.
but in high school, dudes did that shit. I watched it.
It's the same shit. Oh, these are my people. They try to.
That's who
fuck
y'all
with
was
my
riding
people.
with. Y'all wear the same jersey.
Listen,
Same
I
colors.
get it and all that, but even when I went through my little stretch of being in the streets, I never thought about going to a gang. That was just me. It's not everybody. I never.
No. I get that.
Gang.
You know what's funny though? To be honest with you, Yonkers wasn't rampant with gangs.
I'm talking about the Bronx.
No, but
Either way.
Either way,
and Yonkers definitely wasn't.
Yonkers wasn't rampant with gangs.
Yonkers wasn't about gangs.
Not then.
Not then. Now it's a different animal.
Now
Yeah.
it is.
I'm talking about then.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thing. You know what I mean?
So because think about like all the movies, right? Blood In, Blood Out.
Yo, classic.
You mentioned it. Warriors.
Onda.
Yeah, Warriors. Fucking Sons of Anarchy.
Little puppy.
That's Sons of Anarchy is what I to this day is my favorite show.
The Mayans. Like,
Same shit, man.
It's all gangs. Yeah, I know. I get it.
and when we don't, the media tries to glamorize these people and separate it from like the black and Latino gangs, but the mafia was just one big gang.
They just were a gang.
organized. They were more organized.
Exactly, and that's all it was. So Sopranos, Godfather, Goodfellas, Casino, these are all gang members. They just don't call. They just had a fancier name,
Mafia
or La Cosa Nostra, but it was just a big ass gang. You know what I'm saying? They just
Doing
had
gang shit.
They just had suits on.
Doing gang shit.
Doing gang
Organized,
shit.
doing gang
Yeah,
shit, yeah.
doing gang shit.
$2,000 suits on, killing people.
Exactly, with some wingtips. But it's like they was still out there murdering people, pushing drugs, pushing prostitution.
Illegal booze.
Yeah, illegal booze, gambling.
Facts.
That's what all these other gangs are doing. The only difference is
Literally, they are.
complexion was a little different.
Yeah.
Only difference. And like I said, they get glamorized.
Numbers,
They
doing
get
some guns.
romanticized.
It's true, man. Yeah.
Yeah. And
You're right about that.
killing sometimes innocent motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's, you know, the one thing that the mafia tried to hang their hat on was they never wanted to kill innocents and women and children.
Yes.
They wanted to send a message though.
Yeah. Different story.
No rules.
Everybody got it.
Yeah.
And that's what you should throw the cops off too when those types of murders happen. Because they'll be like, wait a minute, this is not their style. Which would lead to some of them hiring people and making it purposely look that way.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be drawn to them.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or blaming on
Blame it on somebody else.
Blame it
Yeah,
on us.
we don't do that.
That was the Sopranos episode.
Yeah.
Remember they were gonna get the black dudes to
Some
kill
black guys from Newark. That
Yeah.
Yep.
They were gonna kill what's his face? Fuck. Johnny Sack.
Sack, yep.
Yeah. Then they changed their mind and they met the black dudes up under an underpass and killed them.
Crazy.
Yo,
man.
we gotta do a Sopranos episode.
Yeah.
Like I know we talked about like the episodes we
One of my favorites ever.
like.
Ever.
I know we talked about like possibly doing a mafia episode, but just Sopranos in general. I think we got to do
That'd be cool.
just a Sopranos episode.
How many
because
seasons were there?
7, but 6 was
Seemed
broken up into 2 parts.
Gotcha.
So it was like
so many more. But yeah.
it just
Yo.
they it stretched out because it was 7 seasons, but it stretched out like 10 or 12 years because they used to take like a year and a half breaks in between.
And that's kind of why, like, when
solid.
that's what made me jump on the, like, when Sons of Anarchy came out, it was year after year. You know what I mean? So every
Yeah, it was
September,
back to back, yeah.
the new year was coming out.
And thank you for putting me onto that show because I was on it mad late. Because I'm
Still
like,
haven't got on it.
Dude,
yeah, so it's because here's the thing. I'm a motorcycle dude, but I'm a sports bike dude. I never was about the choppers,
Cruiser and choppers, yeah.
and the leather vests. Like
even though those dynos, they not sport bikes, but they move.
they do. It's more so about not necessarily the speed.
It's the look.
It's the look, yeah. So I've always been a sports bike. I was having this conversation with your brother actually just the other day. Yeah. So like when I saw the show, I'm just like, hey, okay, you know, some dirty ass white boys out in California with these choppers and leather vests or whatever. I'm like, okay, all right.
That shit
But
is real
then
life. That
Not,
shit is real
but
life.
not what you thought
not what I thought
at all.
And
It
that,
was
shit
awesome.
and that shit is real life. That wasn't
No,
entertainment.
yeah,
That shit
exactly.
was real life. There's
But
real
yo,
gangs
but
out
the
there.
way they that show line in itself, and not to go too far off topic, but they touched on every type of gang. That
Yeah, because they used to intertwine with different gangs
black,
and stuff.
brown, cartel, white
because
trash.
they focused on green.
That's what attaches everything together. The green.
Real quick, that's what just really pisses me off about these gangs nowadays. These dudes is killing each other. It's not even over money. They just doing it just because you on my block or
Hold on, you
wearing
hear that
a
phrase?
color.
But you hear that phrase right there? My what? Your block? I'm sorry. The last time I checked, the landlord, his last name is Rubenstein.
Exactly, yo.
Facts.
I don't get these
And
dudes
I used
just
to
killing
say
each
that-
other. They're not even killing over money. Like,
I used to
come
say
on,
that
man.
though in the days, like, guys, this is not your block.
The other, well, Hove said it. Like, don't. What do you say? Don't kill other dudes over a block where your mom is renting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
It's
Exactly.
like, you know, what are we doing? The other thing I don't get, this is what really threw me for a loop, is if I'm a part of X gang, the point is people in X gang have my back. So when we fight Y gang, I got support. Nowadays, it's like X gang, who you got beef with? Oh, this other dude in X gang. It's like, well, what's the point of being in a gang?
Yeah, if we're all fighting each other.
Fighting each other.
Yeah. It's just gotten out of hand.
I'm gonna speak about that soon.
Go right ahead.
No. Later. Our next segment.
Oh, no. This is the segment.
No.
What you rocking with?
Oh, okay. There you go. Gotcha.
All right.
Literally. Well,
Good.
Might
Perfect
as
timing.
well. Perfect time.
Let's just jump into it. So we call this segment "What You Rocking With," where we talk about what we vibing, what we feeling, and you know what we just feeling for the particular week. So let's get into it. What you rocking with?
Let's get down to it. This is the SNA Live Podcast, hosted by Three the Hard Way. And this is Billionaire Blocks. Give us your take on books, business tips, financial, music, whatever you like. Billionaire Blocks, inside the SNA Live Podcast.
So back with what you rocking with, Leak. Since you had your joint all cocked and loaded, ready to go with the pause.
So
yeah.
I went with it's on topic, it's just a little left. What I'm rocking with is somebody who I think kind of exposed the gang culture, Tekashi 6ix9ine. Why?
Please
Yes.
elaborate.
Listen.
Not to you.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Not to you.
Okay.
I wouldn't do that to you ever.
So he supposedly was in the gang. All right, I'm not gonna say the name. We all know he was, and he's on his music. Oh yeah, part blah 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 blah, bang bang. Saying all of this, and again, the masses, the youngsters, they're seeing him. Oh, he's cool. He's part of a gang. They protect him. He can do whatever he want. Not knowing they freaking were extorting him.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes. So what kind of family are you in? What kind of gang are you in? And your own people are extorting you.
But that goes to the guy who worked in the mailroom that gets arrested for some bullshit and has to do a stint 3 to 6. Who never had any cred, doesn't have no street backing, walks into prison like, what the fuck?
Yeah, man.
What is this?
That was him.
They took advantage of this kid.
But he knew that he was going to talk all this shit, and he just had to have somebody have his back because he knew at the end of the day, I can't do this by myself.
I'm pussy. I'm soft. But again, everybody knows the story, man. Like they were extorting him, having sex with his baby moms. And what he did at the end of the day, he was like, oh, word?
Did exactly what everybody who was not a little 20-something-year-old knew exactly what he was going to do and what he was about.
It was written. It was shown what exactly what he's going to do. It's not going to last too much longer. And it was always the older dudes that always knew that. It was just like, yeah, this dude's going to rap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, again, it's just
Like he had Snitchy McTattle's hair written all over him.
all over him.
All over him.
Didn't Jay throw it on us?
Then they robbed him. Then they even robbed him.
Oh, yeah,
pistol
they
whipped
kidnapped him?
They kidnapped him.
They
Yeah,
kidnapped
kidnapped him. I mean, come on, man. What kind of gang is that? So
But they
again,
let him go on purpose just so that the word could get out.
exactly. I mean,
They
that's
try to make it sound like he escaped. I don't believe
They let
that.
him go. They let him go. Because if that was real, they would either killed him or did worse to him. But that's just a message to, I don't know how many young people we have listeners right now, but this gang shit is bullshit, man. Like, there's no loyalty in that shit. He's a perfect example. There's no loyalty in that shit.
In his situation, I won't go as far as saying that because some of these people take this as life. Some people are lifers into this stuff.
Yeah.
So, and they take the stuff on a whole different level. They're born into it. You know, like how you have a third generation, there's third generation gang members for
Yeah,
real.
no, it's real.
How many of these guys?
It's like dude said it's TV4. I'm 3 generations deep in gangsterdom.
It'd be real like that.
watched that. I watched that a
It'd be
couple
real. It'd be real to some of these people like that.
But
just
you
'cause
see
of
a
their
lot of these guys
circumstance.
get out of jail though, and they leave that shit and they go back into the hood and they talk about how that it's
Again,
not
because
all
most of those people that did that, very few of them did what like Guy Fisher did and actually better himself to get a doctorate and stuff. But other guys, they find religion, and religion is actually. Oh wow, we are buzzing today.
we are closed, people.
But religion is basically another form of.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's a
And
whole
then there's
nother-
also dudes that just get inside and they realize this shit is all bullshit.
Yeah.
Again,
I'm talking from my experience. I just think that gang shit is just.
Yo, just
That's
anybody
okay.
that's watching or listening, we closed on Mondays.
Yeah.
Like, I know people who come here and frequent here, and we appreciate every single customer we get.
What I'm rocking with is sticking to our fucking schedule, people. Please.
I think
we are closed on Mondays.
I know you guys see us here all the time. You think we sleep here and live here. We don't.
We have homes.
We do have homes.
Outside of this home.
We have houses.
So, Rod, what you rocking with, man?
So believe it or not, so to stay on topic, I am actually rocking with something that I know helped me growing up. I wasn't completely out of the whole gang life stuff because, like I said, it was in my neighborhood, and like I said, we always had neighborhood crews and stuff. But like, big ups to youth centers that are still out there.
I knew that was where you were going.
Because like, you know, without the youth center, my mom used to be a program assistant director, and when I tell you there was hundreds of lives that were saved in there. You know,
my pops helped run Claremont Community Center.
See, that's right. We spoke about that with one of our throwback editions with the party with, was it Kuhurk?
Kuhurk,
yeah. So I remember that. So again in my youth center, like Big L, I have the microphone still. Big L performed in my youth center.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I had my DJ set up there. Big ups to my man Odell, if he's still around. You know what I mean? You know, he was the neighborhood dude that, you know, made sure that he was a big party promoter. But youth centers were a structure where kids can get away from their problems at home, from the hours of 3 to 9 o'clock or whatever your local youth center was. I know mine was 3 to 9, 3 to 10, depending on the weekends, and they used to let the older kids play basketball late at night. And like, you know, it was always supervised. You always had counselors there for everything. And you go there for your homework, you go there to learn how to play pool, you go out there to play basketball, whatever the case is. It just kept you off your block when your block was too much, or it kept you out your house if your house was too much. Because a lot of things that people don't realize, and I think we mentioned that on this series here, or on this set, is that some people actually went to become a part of these things because they were going through shit in their own house. You know, I know we mentioned things like, you know, your mom is on drugs or your dad, whatever, but like, what about kids who were getting beat? Kids that were getting molested. You know what I mean? So like, there was shit that they ran from, and they went for places for protection.
And that's actually the issue now. What happened to all these boys and girls clubs? You don't see that.
A lot of this stuff got.
So I was just about to mention
you do not see that these days, man.
And it's ties directly into the mass incarceration. In the 80s, Reagan pulled a lot of programs.
And that's what the defunding the police thing is mostly about. It's not about taking money away from the cops completely. It's taking some of it into building enrichment programs to keep the kids out of problems from when they're young.
So that you don't even need the police.
Exactly. And you don't need them to go to prison because they were raised by either people, because I never forget this guy, Mr. Johnson. This guy literally came out of jail, bro. He's the first one that got me into lifting weights. This dude was about 6'4". He had about 2 teeth. He used to wear a sweatband, bald head. Yo, he was the best motivator in the world, though, and he been through some shit. And he's got us into weightlifting.
So I found out you got trained by Dragonfly Jones.
Yo, bro, he looked like actually.
Let me show you something.
Yo, real
Where's
talk,
my
though.
money, Paul?
Yo, but great dude. And listen, I was 12. I'm talking about him till today. Over 30 years ago, right? 30 years ago, I dated myself.
30? Yeah, 30.
Yeah, 30. Almost.
Yeah, you just turned 41, right?
Yeah, so almost 30 years ago, I'm still talking about the guy. But again, he was an ex-con who came, told, like, yo, don't do this. This shit is not, this is that, nope. We don't
have enough of that these days.
Did that, nope, can't, nope.
These kids are listening to rappers and shit.
And I can speak from experience. You know, that's what it was. Like, when he was telling you that, it wasn't like, I'm on like some, like, cornball dude.
No, I went through that. I went through the system. And a lot of the people that were part of these youth centers and part of youth centers in general, they have some type of outside experience. So, you know, that's what I'm rocking with, man. I would love to see a resurgence. I know us as collectives, you know, we share same, you know, a mentality when it comes to that as the three of us. You know what I mean? With our aspirations, exactly. And we need more people out there. If our voice does get out there, man, listen, if you got the means to do it, man, try to put into your local neighborhoods, man, because listen, the only way to start saving or stopping the problem is stopping it from when it starts. And
before it even starts.
When it's young. It's prevention. It's like you can't find prevention over prescription? It's the same thing when it comes to the streets and the kids in the future.
Be proactive, not reactive.
Yeah, man.
Stop letting Young Thug raise our kids.
No, it's true.
And little this and little that.
Just
little skinny jeans.
Just give back, man. Give back. And
definitely.
real quick, Conway, I'm sorry, I touched.
That's all right. Go ahead.
You had said this statement years ago when we first started just really politicking with business. You had said the statement: first you learn, then you earn, then you return. You know, and that's a part of the process that a lot of people need to take that and adapt to their own livelihoods. Like, use your life experiences, figure things out.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Turn it into something it is prosperous for yourself, but always know that when it is prosperous, and that could be knowledge. It doesn't necessarily have to be, financial.
Yeah, definitely.
And then find a way how to give that back. And big shout out to my goddaughter, because I had a conversation with my goddaughter, Conway, and I had told her that same phrase. And I got a picture from my cousin the other day. Her yearbook, her senior yearbook caption has "First you learn, then you earn your return,"
wow.
and she had my name on it.
That's real
That shit gave me
cool.
little chills right now. Look, on air, I got goosebumps right now.
That's
on air,
real cool.
So I was like, wow. So, but again, see how it stuck to somebody.
Yeah. Young minds are impressionable, man.
Yeah, man.
You'd be surprised what they remember.
So my bad, I ran the mill with that, but please
That's
get back
cool.
to your local
Cool.
neighborhoods, man.
Yeah,
But Conway,
yeah.
what are you rocking with, bro?
So it's so funny that Leak brought up Tekashi, because what I'm rocking with this week is the anti-Tekashi, and Leak, I gotta thank you, because I didn't give the album the chance it deserved, and then when I really started listening to it, I was like, damn, Leak was right, man. This shit is fire. And that's Victory Lap by Nipsey Hussle.
Oh, you finally listened to the whole album.
No, this is a couple years ago.
oh, okay.
Yeah. I've been playing that album.
It's a classic, bro.
Yeah. Like he was the prime example. That's why I said he's the anti-Tekashi. He was the prime example of somebody who, once again, generationally.
Yeah.
He grew up, it was the Rolling 60s, Crips out in LA, and he never shied away from the fact that he was a member, but he used that platform that he got to do his rap career and said, yeah, this is what I went through, but this is not necessarily the thing to do.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna put you on to game in terms of like what the real game
you're
is.
supposed to be doing.
Like, not this whole block shit, this millionaire shit,
Yeah, man.
this money shit, what the corporate gangs are doing, and putting you on to like the real game, and then don't get like distracted by the bullshit that happens in our neighborhoods, because while we're distracted with that shit,
Everybody else around is getting rich, man.
getting rich.
Dude, that video, I can't remember which song it was though, when he's like fucking going to that $1 million list and looking at a house, and he freaking got his shirt off with his tats on, looking like a
that's
straight
when his
thug.
wife is looking
That's
through
all.
that
When
song.
Lauren London comes down, he's the data.
Double Up.
She used to
Double Up. Yep.
Yeah.
That video is so fucking inspirational. Man.
Yeah,
It just
I love
shows
that
you,
video.
I'm dude from the hood, but I'm out here in Malibu. They was somewhere freaking buying a $2 million house.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that was inspirational on a whole nother level.
Definitely. So yeah, man. So R.I.P. Nipsey, man.
Yes, sir.
That dude was
And
Definitely
again,
missed.
it's another sad situation where you got another positive individual who can help change the narrative, and then miraculously, to some people's delight, he disappears.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't find that as coincidence
Nah,
all
I
the
think
time
there's
neither,
definitely some shit
because
going on.
like he just, his message was too strong.
Yeah.
During the time where people were still like, remember, they ain't buying music, but they're streaming the fuck out of it.
Yeah, and they're listening.
And they're really listening.
Yeah.
And this is content is king nowadays, and he had a lot of it.
Definitely
So
did.
people were listening, and he had people's ears. And I don't know, maybe you remember episode 2. You know how I go, conspiracy theorists.
theory.
So,
Yeah.
There's definitely something behind that.
Definitely. So that brings us to the conclusion of this episode. We appreciate you joining us on this journey. You can find us on all social media outlets. We are on Instagram, we're on Facebook. We're also now a part of the One Institution Media, as we stated before. So you can find us on all of on their platform. Go to our Linktree.
Our Linktree has everything attached, everything from our Spotify, Google, Apple playlists, Castos. Please go to our Castos link and subscribe.
You can catch us on YouTube as well.
Correct.
Whether it be our YouTube channel
Or OIM's.
Yeah, OIM's YouTube channel as well. And in the words of Shirley Chisholm, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. We out.
Peace.
You have just listened to the SNA Live Experience. We want to thank you for tuning in with us. We'll be back with another episode.